Hey guys, I just want to jump on here really quick. It's quiet here, and my husband are over his best friend's house, so I actually had the opportunity to just share my week with you, um, and actually ask something from you. But I just want to say sorry about that crazy um, footprints in the snow video that I posted. Brad, thank you so much for setting me straight. Like I said, this city girl has no clue what rabbit tracks look like. And it was so funny because later on that day when my husband came home, he had watched the video and he's like, those are rabbit tracks. You're crazy. And I was like, yeah, you know I'm crazy. But I had never seen anything like that. I didn't know what was going on. But thank you, Brad, for schooling this city girl on what wildlife tracks look like. So I actually deleted that video because I was so embarrassed that I didn't know what it was, and I thought it was me. Well, I guess you don't really know me, but I always think the worst. So, but I just wanted to share. Gosh, it's just been a crazy week. Crazy and sad all at the same time. But it was a busy week at work. As some of you probably don't know, I'm a optical lab technician and I literally make eyeglasses. So I work for a pretty small company as far as like how many employees are there. And it's just been busy. It's after the first of the year, everyone using their benefits to get new pairs of glasses and sunglasses made, and different types of glasses that we manufacture. But what day did this happen on? Thursday, I want to say. A coworker and I were doing maintenance on my one machine, and at this point in time, we were kneeling down on the floor, um, doing maintenance underneath the machine. And another coworker came in and said, "Hey guys, Randy, which is another coworker in the department next department over, Randy is either having a stroke or a heart attack." And I just kind of looked at my coworker like, "What the heck is going on?" I said, "Stand up." And I look out the window and he is laying on the floor. So my coworker and I go out the department and go around, and he's completely turning blue. Um, and he asked me, or I don't know if I asked him or he asked me, did either one of us know CPR? Because everyone else was kind of like standing around. I don't know if it was just shock and they didn't know what to do, but just kind of standing around looking at him. I'm like, he's turning purple. Somebody needs to do something quick. So the coworker that was helping me with maintenance on my machine, we just kind of got him turned on his back, and I had asked what the liquid was around his mouth and around his head, and his supervisor from the next department over had said that he had vomited. So I just tried to get his face and stuff cleaned off and his airway cleaned out as much as we could. And my coworker immediately started CPR on him, chest compressions. And at this point in time, we needed a mouth guard so that we needed the rescue breathing because he had vomited and no one was going to do that without a mouth guard. So, oh, wow. At that point in time, my boss was on the phone with 911, and they were basically just asking the normal questions of what happened and if we knew anything about his medical history and things like that. So as my coworker is still doing chest compressions, another coworker comes over with the mouth guard. We tried several times to resuscitate him, and a couple times throughout this whole process, he was gasping for air, trying to breathe. And at that point in time, I thought that he was going to be okay. Like I never thought that, you know, we were going to lose him at any point in time. At the time that he was gasping for breath, so I'm like, as long as he's breathing, he's going to be all right. Um, so I felt like forever. My boss was still on the phone with 911. It got to the point where we were on our fourth or fifth set of compressions. And I looked up at my boss and was like, what is taking them so long? And, like my husband said, when you're in situations like that, it sometimes seems like it's longer than it actually is. But I think it honestly took them almost a half an hour to get to our building. So, basically, to make a long story short, we never got a pulse on him. We did get him to breathe or take a couple just gas for air a few times on his own. Just tried to talk to him. I prayed over him the entire time. I just knew everything was going to be all right. Once they got there, the EMTs, they tried to intubate him. And long story short, Randy didn't make it. And I remember as I was holding his head up, just to keep his chin back so that he can get as much air as he possibly could. I remember looking into his eyes, and you could see that moment when he passed. Um, that's something that's going to stay with me forever. I'm never going to forget that, and it's been hard. I'm really good at covering up my emotions and not really because I don't want to burden people with my issues, so I internalize them. Um, I was extremely upset at that point in time because when they wheeled him out, they kept telling us, "Oh, we have a pulse. We'll let you know what's going on." And then later that afternoon, I ran into his brother in a parking lot when I was on break, and I said, "Hey, do you have any word on Randy?" And he said he didn't make it. And I hugged his brother really tight, and I told him we tried. My coworker and I, we tried so hard to revive him, and I was actually shocked that he didn't make it. But then looking back, hindsight's 2020. So looking back on that situation and remembering that look in his eyes when they kind of, you could see where the life, his like where it left him, and that's something that's really been bothering me ever since Thursday. So I'm just asking you. Just to pray for me that because I feel like I'm emotionally like not deprived but emotionally I don't know I don't know what the word is. I'm lacking strength emotionally, um and it's just been hard to deal. And I think now with no one being here and our place is like so quiet, and now I have time to think. The girls aren't here and they're not asking me every 5 minutes for something, or my husband doesn't need anything. And now I have time to sit here and really think about what happened. And it's really starting to take its toll on me. So I'm just reaching out and asking you, as my brothers and sisters in Christ, that you would pray over me and that I would stay emotionally strong. I think it really affected me also seeing him there unconscious like that, and then seeing where he basically took his last breath, um, and then thinking about how my father passed away in October and that whole incident with him. Um, what they were saying is they think that Randy had a heart attack, and that's essentially what happened to my dad too. He had a heart attack, but his was induced by poor health from diabetes, and he's stage 5 kidney failure, and it just a long list of illnesses that he had. And my dad was much older than Randy. I think my coworker was maybe mid 50s, so not old at all. And just to be here 1 minute and gone the next. Wow. You know, I didn't talk to him very often. He's a super quiet guy. Barely spoke to anyone. Was the type of guy that was, he only spoke when spoken to. So when I, when I saw his brother in the parking lot and I talked to him, and I didn't even hesitate to ask him. I said, was he saved? And he said, yes, he loved the Lord. So that was like, that was I'm not going to say like made me feel better or anything because he was gone, but it gave me some sort of peace, put it like that. Some sort of peace that, because I always worry about people when, you hear about people passing away and first thing you think is like, I wonder did they have a relationship with Christ? That's the first thing that comes to mind. Never was the case before I got saved, but now that, you become a saved person, that's what your life is having a relationship with Jesus Christ. So I just ask, I'm not going to make this very long, but just to pray for me and pray for my coworkers. Work has been different. It's been quiet aside from the noise from the machinery. That's been basically it. It's been rough on everybody, and it's affected everyone differently, which is to be expected. But I just ask that you pray over all of us that we get through this. It's hard to look over in his little spot where he stood, because that same spot where he stood is where he died, and it's been rough on all of us. So guys, just be ready when it's your time. Constantly stay in a relationship, stay close to Jesus, read his word, read the Bible, talk to him, pray to him, pray over everything, ask him what you should do about everything, because when your time is up, it's up, and nothing can stop that from occurring. God's will is going to be God's will. And I never wanted this situation and what we tried to do to keep him, alive. And I never wanted that situation to make me question Jesus. As much as I prayed, I prayed right in that man's ear as I held his head. Sometimes when he were doing chest compressions, as long as I had his head tilted back, I tried to make sure I looked in his eyes so that he can see that I was speaking to him and praying over him in Jesus' name. That I wanted so badly for him to live. I really did, and I also wanted for everyone else who was standing around watching to see what Jesus could do, but it wasn't meant to be. But that I can't allow that to make me question Jesus or his validity. He's still real. He's still alive. It was Randy's time. So, guys, I love you so very much. Thanks for listening, and just continue to pray over all of us that are still dealing with his loss, and we're going to need lots of prayers in the upcoming days. If you have anything that you need prayer for, please leave it in the comments below. We have to constantly look out for each other. We're brothers and sisters. We may not be living with each other now. I don't see you, every day, but one day we will see each other every day, and we will live with each other. So we better get used to doing things for each other now. Before we go home. So if there's anything that anyone needs that I can help with, please leave it in the comments below, and I'll take it to the Lord. All right, I love you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.